Welcome back to Stoic Reflections, where we explore timeless principles to help you navigate life's challenges with grace and resilience. In today's video, we'll dive deep into 10 life-changing Stoic principles to master your mind, uncovering how these ancient teachings can transform your perspective and empower you to live a more fulfilling life. Whether you're new to Stoicism or a seasoned practitioner, this journey will equip you with practical tools to cultivate inner peace, self-confidence, and unwavering strength. So grab a notebook, settle in, and let's embark on this transformative exploration together. 1. Cultivate unshakable self-confidence. Self-confidence is the cornerstone of personal empowerment, enabling us to rise above criticism and external validation. Imagine stepping into a university as a freshman, surrounded by unfamiliar faces and daunting expectations. Instead of succumbing to doubt, you choose to nurture your inner strength. By actively participating in lectures, seeking guidance when needed, and engaging in extracurricular activities, you gradually build resilience. Each small victory reinforces your belief in yourself, transforming anxiety into assurance. When we trust ourselves, life becomes a canvas painted with vibrant possibilities. Confidence isn't just about recognizing our strengths, it's about embracing our vulnerabilities and saying, "I am enough to overcome any challenge." Every step forward, no matter how minor, fuels the fire within, propelling us toward becoming the best version of ourselves. This unyielding belief opens doors to endless opportunities, allowing us to chase dreams we once thought were out of reach. Confidence acts as a beacon, illuminating our path through life's storms. Like sunlight breaking through clouds, it instills hope and purpose, empowering us to face obstacles without hesitation. When we embrace who we truly are, free from societal pressures, we unlock boundless potential. Let confidence be the flame that guides you, igniting passion and inspiring others along the way. Self-confidence also teaches us to value our unique qualities. No one else in the world has the exact combination of talents, experiences, and perspectives that you do. This realization fosters authenticity, helping you stand firm in your identity. Confidence doesn't mean ignoring flaws, it means acknowledging them and choosing to grow. With each challenge you overcome, your self-assurance deepens, creating a foundation of resilience that supports every aspect of your life. 2. Define clear goals. Life is a journey filled with twists and turns, but having clear goals serves as a compass, keeping us on track. Goals provide direction, turning vague aspirations into tangible milestones. They remind us why we wake up each day and motivate us to push beyond our limits. Picture yourself as a traveler visiting a new city. Before setting out, you decide your destination, the local art museum, and plan your route meticulously. Even when distractions arise, your clarity of purpose keeps you focused. When we commit to our goals, we gain a sense of purpose that strengthens our resolve. Challenges may test us, but they also highlight our determination. By defining specific objectives and remaining steadfast, we not only traverse the path ahead but also create it. With every step, we shape our destiny, proving that perseverance and vision lead to success. Goals act as anchors, grounding us during turbulent times. They remind us of our why, giving meaning to our daily efforts. For instance, if your goal is to excel academically, each study session becomes a step closer to achieving that dream. Similarly, in professional settings, clear goals help prioritize tasks and allocate resources effectively. Without goals, we risk drifting aimlessly, losing sight of what truly matters. Moreover, setting goals encourages accountability. When you articulate your intentions, whether to improve health, advance in your career, or deepen relationships, you hold yourself responsible for progress. This accountability fosters discipline, ensuring consistent effort over time. As you achieve smaller milestones, your confidence grows, fueling further motivation to pursue larger ambitions. 3. Focus on what you can control. In a world full of uncertainties, focusing on controllable factors is essential for maintaining composure. While we can't dictate the weather or others' opinions, we hold power over our responses. For instance, imagine steering a boat during a storm. Though you can't stop the waves, you can adjust your sails and navigate safely. Similarly, in daily life, channeling energy into actionable plans like managing time effectively or nurturing relationships boosts productivity and peace of mind. By concentrating on controllables, we develop self-discipline and emotional intelligence. This mindset fosters gratitude, helping us appreciate what we have rather than dwelling on what's beyond reach. Ultimately, mastering this principle allows us to thrive amidst chaos, emerging stronger and wiser. Focusing on what we can control also reduces stress. When we accept that some things lie outside our influence, we free ourselves from unnecessary worry. For example, instead of fretting over traffic delays, we can use the time to listen to an audiobook or practice mindfulness. This shift in perspective transforms frustration into opportunity, enhancing overall well-being. Additionally, prioritizing controllable aspects builds resilience. Life often presents unpredictable challenges, but our ability to adapt determines our success. By honing skills like problem solving, communication, and emotional regulation, we prepare ourselves to handle adversity gracefully. Over time, this focus cultivates a proactive approach to life, empowering us to create positive change regardless of external circumstances. 4. Build endurance through adversity. Endurance is the silent force behind every triumph. Consider marathon runners enduring fatigue, pain, and harsh conditions to cross the finish line. Their preparation exemplifies how resilience shapes character. Life presents its own marathons, challenges that demand patience and grit. Yet with each hurdle overcome, we grow tougher, gaining confidence in our ability to persevere. Adversity teaches adaptability and courage. Rather than fearing setbacks, view them as stepping stones to greatness. Developing endurance means embracing discomfort, knowing that growth lies just beyond our comfort zones. As we learn to endure, we discover untapped reservoirs of strength, ready to propel us toward our goals. Building endurance requires deliberate effort. Start by setting incremental challenges that push your limits. For example, if you're training for a race, gradually increase your mileage each week. Similarly, in personal development, tackle small fears or insecurities before addressing larger ones. Consistent exposure to discomfort builds mental toughness, equipping you to handle life's unpredictability. Endurance also fosters optimism. When we persist through difficulties, we realize that challenges are temporary. This realization fuels hope, reminding us that brighter days lie ahead. Whether facing financial struggles, health issues, or relationship conflicts, endurance empowers us to remain hopeful and solution-oriented. By embracing adversity as a teacher, we emerge stronger, wiser, and more resilient. 5. Evaluate yourself from within. External comparisons often erode self-esteem, leading to feelings of inadequacy. Instead, turn inward to assess your worth based on personal standards. Reflect on your values, achievements, and aspirations. A student comparing themselves to peers might feel inferior, but shifting focus to individual progress fosters genuine confidence. Understanding your unique qualities cultivates authenticity. Celebrate your strengths, acknowledge areas for improvement, and practice self-compassion. When you evaluate yourself honestly, you build a foundation of self-respect that withstands external judgment. Remember, true fulfillment stems from loving and accepting who you are. Self-evaluation also promotes growth. By regularly assessing your actions and decisions, you identify patterns that either hinder or support your goals. For instance, if you notice procrastination affecting productivity, you can implement strategies to address it. This reflective practice enhances self-awareness, enabling you to make informed choices aligned with your values. Furthermore, evaluating yourself from within strengthens emotional resilience. When you base your self-worth on internal criteria rather than external validation, you become less susceptible to criticism or rejection. This independence bolsters confidence, allowing you to pursue passions without fear of judgment. Embrace self-reflection as a tool for continuous improvement, fostering a deeper connection with your authentic self. 6. Master emotional regulation. Emotions are integral to human experience, yet unchecked, they can disrupt harmony. Learning to manage emotions involves acknowledging them without judgment. Techniques like deep breathing, meditation, and physical activity help restore balance. Visualize yourself as a sailor navigating turbulent waters. By staying calm, you maintain control despite the storm. Effective emotional regulation enhances decision-making and interpersonal relationships. It transforms reactive impulses into thoughtful responses, fostering maturity and empathy. Embrace emotions as teachers, guiding you toward deeper self-awareness and resilience. Mastering emotional regulation begins with self-awareness. Pay attention to triggers that evoke strong emotions, whether anger, sadness, or anxiety. Once identified, explore underlying causes and develop coping mechanisms. For example, journaling can help process emotions, while mindfulness practices cultivate present moment awareness. Additionally, emotional regulation improves communication. When we respond calmly instead of reacting impulsively, we foster understanding and collaboration. This skill proves invaluable in both personal and professional contexts, strengthening bonds and resolving conflicts constructively. By mastering emotional regulation, we create a harmonious inner environment, paving the way for lasting happiness and fulfillment. 7. Cultivate optimism. Optimism fuels hope, even in the darkest moments. During job interviews or challenging situations, maintaining a positive outlook reframes difficulties as learning opportunities. Focus on silver linings and celebrate small victories. Optimism isn't blind faith, it's choosing to see potential in adversity. A hopeful mindset attracts positivity, creating a ripple effect in your life. Surround yourself with uplifting influences and practice gratitude daily. As optimism becomes second nature, challenges lose their sting, replaced by excitement for growth and discovery. Cultivating optimism involves intentional effort. Start by reframing negative thoughts into constructive ones. For instance, instead of viewing failure as defeat, see it as feedback for improvement. This shift in perspective transforms setbacks into stepping stones, fostering resilience and determination. Optimism also enhances creativity and problem-solving. When we approach challenges with a positive mindset, we're more likely to generate innovative solutions. This openness to possibility expands horizons, enabling us to seize opportunities others might overlook. By embracing optimism, we infuse life with joy, purpose, and limitless potential. 8. Practice active listening. Listening goes beyond hearing words, it's understanding perspectives and fostering connection. Engage fully in conversations, showing respect and empathy. Balance openness with discernment, integrating insights while preserving your core beliefs. Active listening enriches knowledge and strengthens bonds. It demonstrates humility, signaling that others' voices matter. By honing this skill, you become a better communicator and collaborator, capable of bridging divides and inspiring change. To practice active listening, eliminate distractions and focus entirely on the speaker. Avoid interrupting or formulating responses prematurely. Instead, ask clarifying questions and paraphrase key points to ensure understanding. This attentiveness fosters trust and mutual respect, laying the groundwork for meaningful dialogue. Active listening also enhances emotional intelligence. By tuning into nonverbal cues, like tone and body language, you gain deeper insight into others' emotions and intentions. This heightened awareness improves interpersonal dynamics, facilitating smoother interactions and stronger relationships. Embrace active listening as a cornerstone of effective communication, unlocking doors to collaboration and shared success. 9. Seek balance. Balance harmonizes work, relationships, and self-care. Modern life demands flexibility, requiring us to juggle responsibilities without compromising well-being. Explore compromises, such as hybrid work models, to accommodate diverse needs. Prioritize rest, hobbies, and meaningful interactions. Strive for equilibrium between ambition and contentment, ensuring sustainable happiness. Balance empowers you to thrive holistically, nurturing body, mind, and spirit. Achieving balance requires conscious effort. Begin by identifying priorities and allocating time accordingly. For example, schedule regular breaks during workdays to recharge mentally and physically. Dedicate evenings to family or friends, fostering connections that enrich life. Balance also involves setting boundaries. Learn to say no to commitments that drain energy or detract from core values. Protect time for activities that rejuvenate, whether reading, exercising, or meditating. By honoring these boundaries, you safeguard well-being and enhance overall quality of life. Ultimately, balance fosters resilience. When all aspects of life receive adequate attention, stress diminishes and satisfaction increases. This equilibrium enables you to navigate challenges gracefully, maintaining harmony even amid chaos. Embrace balance as a lifelong pursuit, continually adjusting to evolving needs and circumstances. 10. Prioritize self-care. Self-care sustains vitality, enabling you to face life's demands with vigor. Dedicate time to relaxation, nutrition, exercise, and personal growth. Treat yourself kindly, recognizing that caring for others begins with caring for yourself. Nurture your passions and pursue lifelong learning. Self-care isn't indulgence, it's investment. By honoring your needs, you fortify resilience and inspire those around you to do the same. Self-care encompasses physical, emotional, and mental well-being. Physically, prioritize sleep, hydration, and nutritious meals. Emotionally, engage in activities that bring joy, whether creative pursuits or spending time with loved ones. Mentally, challenge yourself intellectually through reading, puzzles, or skill-building workshops. Additionally, self-care strengthens relationships. When you prioritize your well-being, you model healthy behaviors for others. This ripple effect encourages collective growth, fostering supportive environments where everyone thrives. Finally, self-care promotes longevity. By investing in your health and happiness, you ensure sustained energy and enthusiasm for life's adventures. Treat self-care as a non-negotiable priority, weaving it seamlessly into daily routines. In doing so, you create a foundation of strength, enabling you to conquer challenges and embrace opportunities with unwavering confidence. In this exploration of Stoic principles, we've uncovered the transformative power of self-confidence, goal setting, emotional mastery, and balance. These tenets guide us toward inner peace and resilience, equipping us to handle life's unpredictability. Remember, strength resides within you. Possess the tools to conquer challenges and achieve greatness. Before you go, Don't forget to subscribe to Stoic Reflections for more insightful content. Share your thoughts in the comments below and join the conversation. Stay tuned as we welcome Ethan and Emma, two incredible guests, for an engaging discussion on applying Stoicism in modern contexts. Thank you for watching, and see you soon.
All right, so we're diving deep into Stoicism today. Specifically, this source, 10 life-changing Stoic principles to master your mind. Sounds pretty good, huh? I think we can all use a little more mastery over our minds. What do you think?
Definitely. I mean, these Stoic principles have been around for centuries and still resonate today, which is pretty incredible if you think about it. These ancient ideas still relevant in our crazy modern world.
Yeah, totally. So, no need for a history lesson here. I think we can all agree on the fact that Stoicism, well, it's having a bit of a moment lately, right? But let's cut through the hype. We're here to actually apply these principles to our lives, right? Make them practical.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the real value here, right? It's not just about the philosophy itself. It's about how these principles can actually help us live better lives.
Yeah.
Navigate the challenges, the ups and downs.
Exactly. And this source, it jumps right in with the first principle, which is cultivating unshakable self-confidence. Interesting. Seems like a pretty bold claim, right? Unshakable. I mean, how do we even begin to build that?
Well, for the Stoics, self-confidence, it wasn't about like bragging or needing everyone to tell you how great you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was much deeper than that.
Yeah, I can see that.
It was about, living in accordance with virtue. And that's like wisdom, justice, courage, temperance, all of that. That's where true confidence comes from, For them, that's the sole good. When you're acting in line with your values, that's when that unshakable self-confidence emerges.
Okay, so it's not like faking it till you make it, more about like genuinely living a life that you can be proud of, right? That makes sense.
Exactly. And the source gives this great example about a college freshman, super stressful time, right? New environment, new people, lots of expectations.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. But instead of getting all caught up and comparing themselves to everyone else, like who's got the cooler clothes or whatever, this freshman, they can focus on like their actions, what they can control,
Yeah, like going to class, participating, joining clubs, that kind of thing.
Exactly. It's about building resilience from the inside out.
I like that, building resilience from within. That's powerful. So it's like shifting our focus from seeking approval from outside ourselves to taking actions that like build our internal sense of self-worth. Have you ever found that to be true in your own life?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, for me, it comes up a lot in creative work. It's so easy to get caught up in comparing yourself to other artists or writers and like needing that validation from others. But when I shift my attention to the process itself, to just, expressing myself authentically, honing my craft, that's where the true confidence lies.
It's like finding that inner compass, that sense of purpose that guides you regardless of what other people think. And you know what? That actually connects perfectly with the second principle in the source, setting clear goals.
Ah, yes, goals. I mean, I love that the source uses this simple analogy. It's like having a map when you're exploring a new city.
Makes total sense. Having a sense of direction, especially when life feels, well, chaotic. But did the Stoics have like specific guidelines for setting goals?
Yeah, for sure. It wasn't just about, having some vague ideas. They were big on journaling and visualizing. They believed in like actively engaging with your goals, writing them down, seeing yourself achieve them, not just thinking about it.
That's cool. So it's not just about setting an intention, but really taking concrete steps to bring those goals to life.
Exactly. And the Stoics knew that goals, they provide more than just direction. They give you that sense of purpose. And, the source gives examples like academic goals, professional aspirations, but this applies to anything, really. Any area of life you want to improve.
So whether it's like learning a new skill or strengthening a relationship or even just, being more present with your family, having clear goals can empower us to take action, create change. It's like moving from, being a passive observer to an active participant in our own lives.
That's a great way to put it. And this idea leads us right into what's like, the core of Stoicism, focusing on what you can control. The source uses this really vivid analogy. It's like steering a boat during a storm. You can't control the waves, right? But you can control how you navigate them.
Okay, that's a powerful image. But isn't focusing only on what we can control a bit, I don't know, limiting? Like there's so much in life that we just can't control. Does Stoicism say we just ignore all that?
See, that's a common misunderstanding. It's not about denying reality or pretending, you have total control. The Stoics, they were actually super pragmatic. They knew life throws curveballs.
Right. Life definitely does that.
But we always have a choice in how we respond to those curveballs.
So it's more about acknowledging what's outside of our control, but then choosing to put our energy into what we can influence.
Exactly. And that's where the real power lies. The Source gives some great examples, like managing your time effectively, nurturing relationships, making conscious choices about how you respond to challenges. It's about finding your sphere of influence and directing your energy there.
Yeah, I love that perspective. It's not about shrinking our world, but actually expanding our awareness of what we can influence within that world. Important distinction, I think.
It is. And it can actually reduce stress, because you're not wasting energy on things you can't change. Instead, you're channeling your energy towards creating positive change within, your own sphere of influence.
And that's something everyone can apply no matter their situation. It's about taking ownership of our experience, focusing on making choices that align with our values, our goals.
Exactly. And that sense of agency, it takes us to our next Stoic principle, but I think we should. It takes us to this idea of building endurance through adversity, right? Sounds kind of counterintuitive, maybe. I mean, usually we try to avoid adversity, right?
Yeah. Right. Who wants to go looking for trouble? But I see what you mean. Like, this source, it uses the example of marathon runners pushing through all that pain, all that fatigue to achieve something bigger. So how did the Stoics actually think about adversity?
Well, for them, it wasn't something to be feared, actually. It was like essential for growth, almost like an opportunity. They even I guess you could say, embraced it. Facing challenges head on, that's how you build mental toughness, resilience.
Okay, so not like going out and looking for a fight or anything, but more about seeing the challenges that inevitably come up as like a chance to get stronger.
Exactly. Think of it, like working a muscle. The more you challenge it, the stronger it becomes.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. But didn't they kind of like take this idea too far? I mean, embracing adversity, doesn't that sound a bit extreme?
I mean, I get it. It can sound a little intense, but their approach, it was all about this like deep understanding of human nature. They knew we tend to shy away from discomfort.
Yeah, comfort is nice.
For sure. But real growth happens when you push past that, beyond those comfort zones.
Right. So it's more about like shifting our perspective, seeing challenges not just as a threat, but like a chance to cultivate strength, resilience.
Yes, exactly. And they believe this, like practice of building endurance, it had this ripple effect, not only making you stronger in those tough situations, but actually strengthening like your overall character, your capacity to deal with all of life's ups and downs.
So it's not just about gritting your teeth and bearing it. It's about developing a mindset, right? That allows you to face those challenges with maybe like a bit more grace, a bit more calm.
Precisely. It's about cultivating. It's like a mental and emotional resilience that helps you, navigate those storms.
Yeah.
And it actually leads us to another principle that's super relevant today, especially today, this idea of evaluating yourself from within. The Source, it talks a lot about this, avoiding those harmful external comparisons, which is tough. Right?
Yeah. Oh, tell me about it. I mean, with social media and everything, it's so easy to get caught up in comparing yourself to others, measuring your worth based on like what other people are doing or achieving or, how many likes they have. So how did the Stoics handle that?
Well, they knew that true self-worth, it doesn't come from, outside validation. It comes from aligning with your own values, your own principles.
Makes sense.
They really emphasize like self-knowledge, introspection, understanding your own strengths, weaknesses, aspirations.
So instead of comparing yourself to everyone else, you're comparing yourself to like your own past self, right? Your own journey.
Exactly. It's about recognizing your own progress, acknowledging the areas where you still want to grow. And they had these like specific practices to help with this, like this evening reflection where you would like review your actions, your decisions throughout the day, asking yourself like, what did I do well? Where did I fall short? How can I improve tomorrow?
Well, that's interesting. Like a daily check-in with yourself.
Yeah. Exactly. It's easy to go through life on autopilot, right? But taking that time to reflect, it helps you become more conscious of your choices and then make adjustments, to align with your values.
Yeah, I like that. So instead of relying on those external metrics, it's about defining our own standards of success, of fulfillment, what truly matters to us.
Precisely. And it leads us to another super powerful principle, that can really impact your well-being, mastering emotional regulation. So, I mean, how do you feel about that?
That one really hits home for me, I have to say. I mean, think about it. We live in this world that's constantly like bombarding us with stuff, right?
Yeah.
Stimulating our emotions. And it's so easy to just get swept up in those feelings, to react without really thinking things through.
Oh, I hear.
But the Stoics weren't about suppressing emotions altogether, were they? What was their take on that?
No, they weren't about suppressing. They knew that emotions, they're a natural part of life, right? But they also knew we don't have to be slaves to them. They had these specific techniques for like managing our emotional responses so we can experience our feelings without letting them control us.
So it's about finding that balance, right? Like acknowledging and experiencing those emotions, but not letting them dictate our actions.
Exactly. The source mentions a lot of practical techniques like, deep breathing, meditation, physical activity, things that can really help calm the nervous system. Create that space between the emotion and your reaction.
So it's about creating a pause, right? A moment of awareness. So you can choose a response that aligns with your values, your goals, not just reacting impulsively.
Right. It's about responding, not reacting. And they believed this practice, emotional regulation, and had this ripple effect on everything. Better decisions, healthier relationships, more inner peace.
It's like becoming the master of your inner world.
Exactly. But, what about optimism? I mean, Stoics, they often get this reputation for being, serious, maybe even a bit pessimistic. So where does optimism fit in?
Yeah, that's a good point. It does seem like a bit of a contradiction.
Right. It's a common misconception.
Yeah.
They weren't about, ignoring the bad stuff or pretending everything is perfect. Their optimism, it was much more like nuanced, more pragmatic.
So not just blind positivity, but more about...
More about like choosing to see the potential for good, even in those difficult situations.
Right. Reframing challenges as opportunities.
Exactly. Instead of getting stuck in negativity, you look for, the lesson, the way you can grow from the experience.
It's about shifting your perspective, even when things are tough. But isn't that sometimes like wishful thinking? I mean, there are situations where it just doesn't seem possible to be optimistic.
True. There are times when, just focusing on the positive can be, well, unhelpful. But the Stoic approach, it wasn't about ignoring reality, pretending everything's fine. It was about focusing on what you can control, even in the midst of all that,
Okay, so it's not about denying the negative, but about choosing to focus on the potential for growth, even when things are really challenging.
Yes, and recognizing that even in those, darkest of times, there's always a possibility, however small, for transformation. And that, I think, leads perfectly into another principle, the practice of active listening. What do you think?
I mean, on the surface, that one seems pretty straightforward. But, think about it. How often do we actually feel truly heard? Like someone's really listening to us without judgment, without interrupting. So what was so special about how the Stoics approached listening?
They saw it as more than just passively taking in information. It's about actively engaging with the other person, trying to understand their perspective, their point of view.
Right. Going beyond just hearing the words to really understanding where they're coming from.
Exactly. And they believe this active listening, it had this transformative effect, not just on individuals, but on relationships too. It creates empathy, understanding, and it allows you to expand your own perspective, right? Learn from other people's experiences, their insights.
So it's about creating space for real connection, real understanding.
Beautifully put. And you know what? That leads us to another essential principle for a fulfilling life, seeking balance. I mean, how do you feel about that one?
Oh, that's a big one, especially today, right? It's all about productivity, achievement, hustle culture. The source talks about, harmonizing work, relationships, self-care. But is that even possible in our crazy, fast-paced world?
That's the question, isn't it? The Stoics, they understood that balance. It's not about finding some perfect equilibrium or like sticking to some rigid formula. It's about knowing your own needs, your priorities, and then making choices that support your overall well-being.
Okay, so it's more about making adjustments, finding what works for you, rather than striving for some unattainable ideal.
Exactly. It's about creating a life that feels, both fulfilling and sustainable, honoring your needs so you can show up fully in every area of your life. The source even talks about exploring, compromises like hybrid work models and prioritizing things like rest, hobbies, meaningful interaction.
Yeah. It's about creating a life that feels good, that's sustainable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know what? That leads us perfectly into our final principle, prioritizing self-care. What do you think about that one?
Ooh, that's a tough one for a lot of people, I think. I mean, we live in this culture that often glorifies, being busy all the time, self-sacrifice. So how did the Stoics view self-care? Was it like a weakness?
Not at all.
Yeah.
Actually, they saw it as like a foundation for living a good life, a meaningful life.
Yeah.
You can't pour from an empty cup.
That's so true. I think a lot of people need to hear that.
Right. The source really encourages us to make time for things like relaxation, good food, exercise, personal growth, treating yourself with kindness, compassion, just like you would treat a loved one.
I love that. Treat yourself like you'd treat a loved one. I think that's something we can all strive for.
Right. And it can be hard. I mean, we're so focused on taking care of others sometimes that, well, we forget about ourselves. But the Stoics, they remind us that self-care, it's not a luxury. It's essential.
Yeah, it's about recognizing that we deserve to be cared for too. Our well-being matters.
Absolutely. And when you take care of yourself, you're actually better equipped to take care of others. You've got more energy, more patience, more capacity for love, compassion.
It's like self-care is actually a generous act. It allows you to show up as your best self for everyone else.
Right. And that's really what all these Stoic principles are about, cultivating those inner resources, the resilience that you need to live a fulfilling, meaningful life, a good life.
Wow. That was a lot to take in. So many principles. It's amazing how relevant this ancient philosophy still is today, It really makes you think.
It does, doesn't it? I mean, these principles, they tap into something really fundamental about being human, about facing challenges, finding meaning. It's timeless, really.
Totally. I'm already feeling inspired to try some of this stuff out. But, it's easy to get kind of lost in the theory, right? Like, how do we actually make these principles a part of our lives, not just, something we talk about?
That's the key, right? It's like having all these amazing seeds, but never actually planting them. They need the right conditions to grow,
So how do we create those conditions? How do we actually make this Stoic stuff work for us?
Well, I think the first step is to maybe just pick one principle, one that really speaks to you, where you feel like, okay, this is something I could really use in my life right now.
So not trying to do everything at once, just start with one thing.
Exactly. Find your starting point, and then for the next week, really focus on that principle. Try to apply it in your daily life. See what happens.
So bring it out of your head and into the real world.
Yeah, exactly. See how it affects your thoughts, your actions, your relationships. What changes do you notice? What challenges come up?
Like a little experiment.
Yeah, exactly. And, remember, it's a process. It's not about being perfect. You're going to forget sometimes. You're going to fall back into old habits. It's all part of it.
It's like creating a new path in your brain, It takes time.
Exactly. Just keep practicing, keep experimenting, and you'll find over time, these principles, they become a part of who you are, a part of how you see the world. And you know what? You don't have to do it alone. There are so many people out there who are into Stoicism exploring these ideas.
So connect with them, read books, have conversations, keep learning.
Yeah. And the more you learn, the more you'll realize just how much wisdom there is in this ancient philosophy, how much it can offer us even today.
Well, this has been a really eye-opening deep dive for me. I'm definitely feeling inspired to start my own Stoic journey.
It's been a pleasure exploring these ideas with you. And remember, the journey of self-mastery, it's ongoing. It's a lifelong adventure.
Well said. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Stoicism. We'll be back next time with another fascinating topic, ready to, unpack it all together. Until then, stay curious, everyone.